Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. That was super sweet of you. I'm gonna keep the intro short and sweet today because today we are starting a new series on my channel that I'm super excited about. I am going to be going through my entire water activated liner collection, which is massive, so I'm gonna be going through it color by color, swatching every single shade of that color on both my arm and on my eyes, so you can get a good idea of what graphic liner shades you might want to buy. Now, in the past, I have posted a few water activated liner collection videos, but like I said, my collection is massive. It's grown a lot since then, so I couldn't possibly fit it all into one video unless the video was like 3 hours long. So today we're starting with red, as you could maybe guess from the title of the video, but also from all the red I'm wearing. And I have a total of 12 shades all of together to swatch for you. Red is one of my smaller categories. Trust me, when we get to the blue shade, there's gonna be like 30 of them. So if that sounds like a topic that is interesting to you and you want to see all of my red water activated liners, then I encourage you to please subscribe and keep on watching because it's coming at you right now. Alright, we're gonna start off with all of my Glisten Cosmetics red water activated liners, which I have the most of. This is their split liner in the shade 70s. I'm gonna swatch both sides separately, but then I'm also gonna swatch them mixed together because when you buy a split liner, you're technically buying 3 colors. Let's start with the pastel red side first. Alright, here is swatched on my arm. Now let's swatch it on my eye. Here is our pastel red. Oh, it's such a pretty shade. I used to think that there was no such thing as pastel red. I just thought that would be pink, but this one definitely is a pastel red. Now I'm gonna swatch them mixed together so we can see the progression of the different shades. Split liners are super easy to clean too. You just take a wet paper towel and wipe off the top layer and it'll go back to being perfectly split. And here is our mixed colors. Okay, a very subtle difference as I expected it to be because it is the 2 shades mixed together. And here is the swatch on my arm. Now let's swatch the darker of the 2 red shades. Ooh, that's a really pretty like brick red color. This split liner is honestly a great option to give you like the full range of reds in your collection. You got your pastel to your deep red. Alright, and here you have it. This is 70s from Glisten Cosmetics, swatched on my eye and on my arm. Feel free to take a screenshot if you want to remember this one. Like I said, a great option to build a lot of reds into your collection with this one little pan. Alright, dipping into another split red liner from Glisten Cosmetics. This is Red Velvet, and this is the lighter of the 2 shades. I don't know if I'd say it's lighter, because the other shade is more of like a burgundy, but I feel like burgundy falls into the red category. Alright, now swatching that shade onto my arm so I can see them side by side. Okay, 70s definitely has more of like a tinge of brown in there, where I'd say that Red Velvet is like a true red. Alright, now mixing the 2 shades of Red Velvet together. I love mixing these 2 together. It creates a much more cool tone red. I'll go ahead and swatch that right under our first color. They're gonna look really similar when they're right next to each other like this on my eye, but you should see when I swatch it on my arm that yeah, it gets a lot more cool tone. You're really just playing with undertones when you mix these 2 Red Velvet shades together. Okay, now dipping into the burgundy side of the pan. Swatching that one on the eye. It's gonna look subtle because obviously this is like an ombre progression of the 3 shades, but I think you'll really see the difference on the arm. And here that is swatched on my arm. You can definitely tell that this one has the most pink in it. Like I said, it's more of a burgundy red. Alright, and here you have it. Here's the Red Velvet split liner from Glisten Cosmetics. As you can see, really different option than the 70s liner. Alright, next up we have a single shimmery red from Glisten Cosmetics. This is the shade Inferno, and here it is swatched on the eye. And here is Inferno swatched on my arm. You can see the shimmer is very subtle. I would almost call this more of like a pearly finish because there's not really a lot of sparkle in it, but you can definitely see how the light hits it differently than the matte shades we've swatched so far. Alright, now moving on to my last Glisten shade. This is the split liner shade Ronald. Obviously one side is yellow and one side is red, so I'm only gonna swatch the red shade. Swatching the shade Ronald under Inferno. It's kind of like a brick red, but like a shimmery brick red with like a hint of copperiness to it. It's really pretty. And here's the shade Ronald swatched on my arm. Yeah, it looks super coppery right next to Inferno, since Inferno is like such a true red and this one definitely has more brown in it. And here's Ronald. Okay, that's it for my Glisten shades. Now I want to move on to the one red shade I have from Suva Beauty because I think it looks really similar to Ronald, but this is the shade Mars and it's a part of their Hydra FX body art palette. I'm not sure if it's sold individually, but one weird thing I will say about this palette, it smells like soap. Like it smells really soapy. It doesn't smell bad on the eyes or like feel weird or anything, but Yeah, it's very soapy smelling. And their other palettes I have don't smell like soap, so I don't really know what's up with that. Okay, I'm just gonna swatch Mars right under Ronald, and as I suspected, they are very similar looking, but let me wait for it to dry down, because sometimes the color changes a little. You know what? I take it back. Mars is ever so slightly deeper. Yeah, okay, Mars definitely has a little less orange in it than the shade Ronald from Glisten does. Ronald's more of like a coppery red, whereas Mars is more of like a deep brick shimmery red. They're both really pretty, but yeah, definitely two different shades. All right, next up is the one red shade I have from the Cutcreaser and by Melolops collection. This is the shade Aether. It's a very orangey red. I haven't used this one in a while. I'll admit, I have cool undertones, so I tend to lean more towards the cool tone reds. Here is Aether swatched on the eye. Wow, yeah, that looks like straight up orange, but it's not. Like, it's definitely red, but yeah, it pulls very orange on the eye. If you're into orangey reds, I think you would love Aether. Here it is swatched on my arm. Yes, still looking super orange. Very interesting, very warm toned. All right, now rounding out my red collection with my Gavissi beauty shades, this is Bandana, a matte red. Bandana is another one of my go-to shades. I like this red, a good classic red. Now let's swatch this on my eye underneath Aether. This is making Aether look even more orangey because Bandana is just like such a true red. And here it is swatched underneath Aether on my arm here. Bandana is a great classic matte red. Okay, next up I'm going to be swatching Candy Apple from Gavissi Beauty. You can see I have this in a custom palette here, but you can buy the shade on its own. I've never swatched this next to Bandana before. I'm interested to see if these look different at all. Right, swatching on the eye. Okay, Candy Apple might be a tinge more orange. Let me wait for it to dry down. Ooh, okay. I think I see the difference now. I'm pretty sure these might be UV shades. I'll definitely verify and let you know. But looking at it on my arm, I'm like, yeah, that looks a lot more neon-y to me. Even when this is drying down, it's definitely more neon, and it does lean a tinge more orange. I still think Bandana is the most true red of all of these colors, whereas this one's kind of like an in-between of Aether and Bandana, but definitely more UV. Okay, I have one more shade from Gavissi Beauty, and you're probably like, what? You're including that in the red category? But it's a duochrome. See, when I tilt it like this, it definitely looks more red. It's got like a red gold flip to it. It's called Castle. And because I usually don't wear my duochromes on their own, I usually swatch them over another red. I'm gonna do it on its own in the wing region on one eye, and then I'll do it over a matte red on the other eye. Yeah, but Castle doesn't really do all that much on its own. I can't lie to you. You can see it just added like a little bit of sheen. I mean, if you're into a super subtle liner shade, you could probably like just one layer of this. Okay, layer number 2, still very subtle. Yeah, I don't think this one's really gonna be able to be built up to a true red because it does lean so heavily gold, but it is a really pretty shift. So let me go and put a matte red on this side. Since Bandana was the most classic red, you know, like the most neutral of all of them, I'm gonna go in with that as my base shade. Bandana is like the matte version of Inferno from Glisten. Like, they're both the same tone, but Bandana just doesn't have any shimmer in it. All right, now I'll go over it with a layer of Castle. Okay, it does look really pretty over Bandana though. Wow, dang, that turned Bandana into a super sparkly red, like more so than Inferno. I think it's especially because of the whole duochrome nature of it, giving it that greeny gold flip. I like these two together. I already did one layer of Castle because I know that that needs to be built up a couple layers. So there is Castle on its own, very subtle. And here is Castle layered over Bandana. Like I said, a super gorgeous, shifty, pretty red. Here's Castle on its own, and here's Castle over Bandana. All right, you guys, and that is all of the red shades I have for you today. I am gonna put a picture of my arm swatches over here with the shade names next to them in case you want to screenshot it so you can look at this for future reference. So next time you go shopping for red water activated liners, you have something to reference. And yeah, I hope you're as excited about this series as I am. I'm gonna be doing orange next. Should I go in color? Yeah, I'm gonna go in rainbow order because I'm a Virgo and it will bring me a lot of peace to go in rainbow order. But then I'm also gonna do a black and white video where I do all my black and white shades, and then I'll do a silver and gold one, and maybe one for like the duochromes that don't really fall into a category. I don't know, but it should be really fun. I thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please do me a favor, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I post new videos twice a week at least, and I would love to have you subscribe. Check out my description box for all of the other makeup on my face today. I'll also put links to all of these water activated liners down below in case you want to check them out. But thanks so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye!